Welcome back everyone to another episode of It's Not Easy Being Green Screen. Of course, we showcase the Amstrad CPC on this show by looking at how the games look like on the green screen that was supplied with the lower budget version of the system. And here we are with a rather excellent game, another excellent arcade port. It's Shinobi. Obviously this classic was programmed by Richard Applin, and this is the 128K version. And yes, it's a pretty decent port of Shinobi, aside from Joe's rather hunched back on the sprites there. The game plays pretty well. It's full, complete, got all the levels. Well, most of the levels, I should say. But it is quite graphically intensive when it comes to textures in the background. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when we turn it all into green. Lots of orange here on the first stage. On the many stages there's quite a lot of orange. But there's a lot of textures going on in the background. The brickwork and the window panelling and concreting and stuff like that. And there's also like platforms and water effects later on in the game. Buildings in the background, lots of that kind of. And this is the kind of stuff where green sort of has a bit of a headache with defining what's going on, especially contrasted against the main sprites, the main enemy sprites of course, and of course projectiles. They'll be a bit of a problem when we switch it to green. Love this second stage with the Marilyn Monroe pictures in the background. I think we'll get to the end of this second stage just to give you a flavour of what the graphics kind of look like. There's lots of texture going on in the second stage here with the background. I'm assuming things like the Spider-Man there would be very difficult to pick out in the green. Like I say, we'll get to the end of this level quickly, and before we get to the end of level boss we'll switch to green and we'll play the second stage, I think, in the shade of the grass. So here we go, and let's switch it to green. Like I said, yes. Yeah, well actually it's not as bad as I thought. Oh, like, yeah, well, actually the Spider-Man was very difficult to pick out there, so I was kind of correct about that. Right, let's go to the end of level boss. Ken-O, the big giant super Shinobi ninja samurai fireball waving thing. Yes, the background is yeah, it's having an effect on the sprites there. So hit the magic there. It's not too bad. Look at Joe's boots, really shiny when he stands up straight. Can't really see Ken's hands, they've sort of blurred into the background there, but I tell you what, the sprites are holding up pretty good against the green background. Very dark, they're very dark coloured, so that does help against the light shades of the backgrounds and the foregrounds, to be honest. Here we go with the bonus stage. Let's see what happens on the back. Oh dear, all the definition has been lost there on Joe's hands. That's a shame. And yeah, the ninjas are pretty difficult to pick out there. Oh, there's one there. I nearly missed him. They're pretty difficult to pick out. Oh goodness me, I missed him there. But it's not too bad actually. All the detailing unfortunately has been lost in the dark shaded areas right at the back of the stage. And the hands were a complete mess there. I don't know what happened there. They all went like the one shade. But yeah, mostly visible, mostly playable, mostly visible. Some of the sprites were difficult to pick out there, but never mind. Big shades of green there where the grey colour is supposed to be. This is all supposed to be grey, of course. So let's move on to mission 2. When it loads, we'll just wait for it to load. There we go. That doesn't look too bad, that looks quite nice. Enter the enemy hideout, and here we go. So yeah, that concrete panelling effect, that seems to have come across quite well. Again, not badly contrasted against the dark coloured sprite of Joe. A little bit blurry in and out to all places. Let's see if we can jump up here. Oh goodness me! The blue picking out against the dark black there at the back. Couldn't pick that out. That was quite yeah. And also, I'm just realised it's pretty difficult to see the little girls, see the girl hostages. Sometimes they're a little bit obscured. Not that one. Not against the lighter shades, but against the darker shades certainly. How are them the ninjas when they sort of like materialise out of nowhere? They're going to be difficult, tricky to see, I'm going to think. Here we go through the exit. That's quite clear. That was actually quite clear. The texturing at the bottom actually looks pretty nice. Okay, second stage. Is this the one with the red background? Oh, whoa, whoa! Ouch! That's a strain on the eyes. Ooh. Yeah, lots of the sprite definition being lost on the background. And of course, that's a red background, normally in full colour, and that heavy texture in there is really having a problem with picking out what's going on. You can make out it just enough, but yeah, I can barely see the hostage there. Nice effect. I mean, that's nice and bright when the scoring effect comes up. Just nip up here quickly. But oh yeah, that's a real strain on the eyes, that is. Real strain on the eyes, and it's tricky to sort of keep your concentration. I mean, some of the enemy sprites, especially the big blade wheelers, I didn't even see that hostage there. Didn't even see it. And that crate is very bright. There's some ninjas here? No, sometimes there's some ninjas here. Or am I just thinking that's the arcade version? Of course, yes, on the Amstrad version you don't get that. I've just noticed the save, some of the bits on HUD are a little bit difficult to pick out as well, a little bit tricky to spot. There's a hostage there, you can barely see. Yeah, oh, it's really hurting my eyes now. The background there really hurt my eyes. So let's get on to the final stage before we go against the boss, the helicopter boss. Here's the frogman stage. Whoa, I knew that was coming. It's just, yes, yeah, a little trick there. You can actually kill these things when you're not even anywhere near them. The pillars the pillars in the sea, they're quite bright and they stick out quite well. He just walked straight off there, that dude, didn't he? What a mon. What a moron, I should have said there. Whoops. Don't catch me out on that one. To be honest, this actually is quite a playable stage actually. The water is not as bad as I thought it was, because you're not in the water, I guess. It's nowhere near as bad, and you can pick out the frogman ninjas quite well. I was surprised because I thought, because they're quite very dark against a dark background, they might have been tricky to spot. To be honest, Shinobi is actually faring quite well. Obviously some of those backgrounds are a bit eye straining, but on the whole game is actually working out quite well in green. I don't think people would have been too disappointed. Oh, shot by the helicopter. That's the sort of thing to ruin your day, getting shot by a helicopter. So yeah, this is fine. This is perfectly playable in green for most parts. Yeah, if you'd have bought this game back in the day and you only had the green screen and you didn't get shot by the helicopter, like I'm continually for some reason doing here, you wouldn't have been too disappointed. But okay, it's a far cry from the full colour version, which is quite an impressive game for the Amstrad. It plays still the same, which is good, and that's the main thing about this game. It does play really well. So yeah, it's now, and of course the music is there, that fantastic music on the 128K version as well. So yes, that is Shinobi on the Amstrad in green. I hope you enjoyed this latest episode of It's Not Easy Being Green Screen. We're just going to kill off the old helicopter here, and I'll say farewell. Nobabug, out.